Hi, I'm Taryn Russell, and I'll be doing this week's video announcements. On Monday, the 22nd, we have Monday night band practice at 6 p.m. At this time, this is the only thing we have scheduled, but be sure to check just in case. Mr. Best.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know that on this day in history, Hurricane Andrew struck the Bahamas, and 2 days later, it made landfall in South Florida, followed by southern Louisiana. The hurricane was a Category 5 and had some of the highest winds ever recorded at 175 miles per hour.
That's incredible.
On Tuesday, the 23rd, we'll have Ladybugs volleyball games in Poolville versus Poolville. JV White will be at 4, JV Green will be at 5, and then varsity will end it at 6. Hey, Mr. Best.
Yes, ma'am.
Aren't you a Beatles fan?
Love them.
Do you think Rolling Stone is better?
Get out.
Did you know that 58 years ago, the Beatles released She Loves You?
Oh, tell us more.
In UK, it became #1, and it stayed there for 4 weeks. It was the best-selling single for the Beatles.
Very cool.
On Wednesday, the 24th, there's nothing scheduled on the mobile calendar, but just be sure to check just in case. Mr. Best.
Yes, ma'am.
On this day in history, Amelia Earhart was the first woman to ever fly a plane solo. In 1920, she took off from Los Angeles, California, and after 19 hours, she landed in New Jersey. While flying in 1939, she ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean, causing her death. She was way ahead of her time. What do you think, Mr. Best?
Well, I think it's interesting that nowadays you'll actually see women, and you'll see this on social media. They're now the pilot and the co-pilot for huge commercial jet airliners flying across the Pacific Ocean. And I saw something cool too the other day, probably was on a Facebook feed. It was a mother-daughter team, the pilot and the co-pilot of a Southwest Airlines flight. It's very cool, don't you think?
That is cool. On Thursday the 25th, we have Lady Bronco volleyball games versus Brock in Breckenridge. The 7th grade will start at 4:30, and the 8th grade will start at 5:30. We also have JV football games versus Jacksboro in Jacksboro, and the kickoff will start at 5 p.m. Mr. Vest.
Yes, ma'am.
On this day in history, astronaut Neil Armstrong died. He was the first man on the moon, and he died at the age of 82 after complications of heart surgery. Armstrong could fly planes before he even got his driver's license, so that should tell you about how passionate he was about flying. What do you think about that?
Yes, I remember watching astronaut Neil Armstrong take his first steps on the moon. I was a little boy, when that happened, and I was about probably 9 years old. And he's had a huge impact on aerospace. For example, he was flying those famous X-15 planes before he was selected for NASA, and he was an aviation pioneer on fly-by-wire. So yeah, he's quite the hero.
On Friday the 26th, we'll have our first pep rally of the year. We don't know the time yet, but we do know the theme. It is circus, and our motto is Tame the Tigers. We'll also have Lady Buckaroo volleyball games versus only, and the times are varsity are at 4 o'clock, and then the JV teams will follow. And then later that evening, this will be our football opening, and it's in Breckenridge versus Jacksboro, and the kickoff is at 7:30. Hey, Mr. Vest.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know that on this day in history, in 1920, the 19th Amendment was passed, and this amendment was guaranteeing women the right to vote? Don't you think that's crazy how half of the population couldn't vote until about 100 years ago?
Yeah, when you look back on stuff, it just doesn't make any sense to it. It's like smoking a cigarette in a doctor's office like they used to do back then and thinking that was good for you. There's some crazy stuff back in the day, huh?
On Saturday, the 27th, we'll have junior high and high school, boys and girls cross-country meet at Boyd. High school will start at 8 a.m. and then junior high will follow about 10 a.m. Mr. Best.
Yes, ma'am.
On this day in history, in 2006, the oldest woman to have lived died.
How old?
She was 116 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. But that means she rotated the sun about 116 times.
Indeed, it does mean that.
How old are you, Mr. Best?
What are you trying to say, Taryn? I'm 61. I got a ways to go, I hope.
Yeah. I want to wish everybody a great week, and go Bucks.